I don't even have any excuse for this. After telling you all about my Emily notebook, I went to the recent Louis Vuitton Murakami release day at my local store and went just a little bit ham. Again, I can't even justify myself, but I'll tell you all about it after my theme music. Welcome back to Stories and Stationery. I promise that I am going to post my 2026 stack very, very soon. But we interrupt this regularly scheduled programming for a very short video of 2000s vibes when I was an early 20s teacher in Detroit. I loved the beautiful LV Takashi Murakami collaboration with Marc Jacobs. I am just thrilled that I was able to secure just a few more items as we continue this celebration of basically not quitting on the job after many, many years, and to celebrate having 400 members of this channel. I'm so grateful to all of you. I never thought that 400 people would tune in to listen to me ramble about my paper and pens and pencils, and we all love it. If this is the kind of content that you think you'd enjoy, I'm going to be talking a little bit more in depth about how I use each part of my planning system. Please do like and subscribe, comment on the video, and share it with a friend. It's the only way that busy bees like you and me will ever take notice of this channel. All right, let's get into it. So, this is very much an impulse first impressions video because I literally brought these home yesterday after pre-ordering. I really participated in the pre-order because now that I have a lovely client advisor, Lisa, who helped me get my LV agendas and is very, very nice. You can check out her Instagram down below in the description. She occasionally offers me opportunities to participate in pre-orders or to look at rare items that are not out of the ballpark. So when she sent me the monogram anniversary lookbook about a month ago, I was shocked because I am not a very important client. I'm not a very, very important client. Okay, I'm important to myself, but I'm just a regular person out here trying to make $1 out of 15 cents. I was a teacher for a long time. I've been a professor for 16 years, and I've been a department chair for 3 years, going on 3.5. And so I thought, wow, I'm going to be able to pre-order something special. So I was looking for perhaps a key chain holder. They call it the key clay, or perhaps a little scarf or something, because I do wear scarves to work. Honey child, when I tell you that I saw they'd re-released the dream collaboration between Marc Jacobs, who was creative director at Louis Vuitton during the 2000s, and famous Japanese artist Takashi Murakami, I just knew I had to participate. My field is English education, but my subfields are children's and young adult literature and science fiction and fantasy. So, although I'm not part of the US anime generation, I still love anime. I love Japanese and Korean cartoons and storytelling and art and culture. So I remember this collaboration well. I wasn't in my teens like many of the millennials who were talking about the collection on TikTok last year were I was in my early 20s. I was a teacher in Detroit, Michigan. So, I could not afford to participate in Murakami Louis Vuitton 1.0 on my teacher salary. Listen, I can barely afford to participate and save for retirement with Murakami version 2.0, but I just had to get a few stationery and planning items just to celebrate this amazing 20-year anniversary, and just to thank Lisa for hooking me up with all these incredible luxury planner items during the twilight of my career. I shouldn't say that. It's not the twilight, the zenith, or I don't know. Insert the adjective there. So, if you like luxury, stationery, planning, or just watching folks online justify our ability to be influenced, our rampant consumerism, and our needlessly expensive purchases, welcome to this short video. So we're looking at these 3 Louis Vuitton and Takashi Murakami pieces. I did secure the Agenda MM, which is a bit of an unusual size. It's personal rings, and I'll talk about that in a minute. I was able to get one of the pencil cases, and I just never wanted to get an LV pencil case. And I'll talk a little bit about this now because the Agenda is actually the only thing I pre-ordered. All I can say is that the client advisors are very good at what they do. And then I was looking for the Jane notebook, as you might recall from my Emily notebook video, which I will link above if I am sophisticated enough as a YouTuber, only 1 year in the game, to share that with you. So I was looking at these 3 items, and I thought last year when I saw things hit the pre-loved luxury market where a lot of us who are sensible get our planning items, I said, I'll never pay for that. So the Jane notebook was going for something like $400 or $500. And I said, what? The pencil case, I don't even think I've seen a pencil case on the pre-loved market. And then the Emily notebook is going for $1,000 or more. I think I saw one on StockX before I filmed the video for about $800. And it's a notebook, it's not a full agenda. So again, I haven't planned in these yet. I haven't written in them yet. I barely touched them. This is very much, I just sat down, opened my boxes, and decided to film a video. So let's look at the general impression. So looking at the colors, they're even more vibrant than online. I remember back in the day, and I am not, supporting counterfeiting or anything like that. But listen, folks, I was not always someone who was a professor at a fancy institution. I grew up in a regular neighborhood in Detroit. And so, you know how they talk about the Canal Street knockoffs? Well, the people had the bags, the shoes, etc. way back in the day. But these colors are more vibrant in person and in real life than anything that I saw back when I was getting the, off-brand kind. Online, they're cute. When you get the counterfeit or the fake version, they're, all right. We see you, However, when you see the real thing in person, and going to the boutique yesterday was an experience. When you see it, these colors pop. And it's not in a tacky way. It's very tasteful. That's why I paired it with some of my colored pens. Of course, we all love a good Tombow in our stationery and planning community. So this is the primary set Tombows. Whoops. So these are the primary markers. And so I, of course, use Tombows daily in my planning. And then recently, as a cloth and paper intention box subscriber and someone who's a big fan of the brand, I had the Pentel matte top pen. That was so controversial within that community because it was intended to write on our darker colored items. So we received in the November box from that particular company a black notebook, so a notebook with black pages. Well, what do you write on with that? Well, the matte top pens by Pentel are one choice. And I just put them here because I thought they looked good and made the colors here look even more vibrant. So let's see. I'm trying to think. What else can we talk about? It is so hilarious that stationery and planning is this category that people are doing luxe, right? It very much is a choice, especially in this economy, given everything that's going on in the world. We could go to the dollar store and get a one subject notebook. And definitely I have. One of my favorite notebooks is from Pen and Gear at Walmart. I'll have to show you one in a future video. It's sort of a black and white paisley floral design. I like paisleys and floral prints, not the big flowers, but little teensy weensy flowers. So anyway, that notebook cost me probably $4.99. And certainly we get notebooks free. So I want to just acknowledge that, or keep acknowledging that. And, I justified it partially by saying, if I just cringe too much using these things, I can always give them away to my younger relatives, or I could stash them or sell them. But, now that I see them, it's just, I think these are mine. All right, let's start with this agenda because I am obsessed. All right, so this is the Agenda MM, and yeah, this one already has me on a chokehold. I can't even say any differently. The first thing I noticed is that it feels really solid and really smooth, y'all. The canvas feels different from my other LV prints. And I know. It's like, okay, Eb, that's in your head, but I just picked up the monogram desk agenda, and I'll talk about that more when I get to my stack video. But I feel this canvas, which is, amazing on the desk agenda for monogram, classic monogram. It's amazing. I've paired it with the Merlot matte clip from Cloth and Paper. I just always like to put a clip up here in my agendas. I have one coming for this, but I'll talk about that in a minute. And I feel this, and the canvas is just, it feels smooth. And it's really not doing anything. It's not it's not picking up any dirt. Of course, I try to wash my hands before I film these videos, but even putting a little lotion on, I think, won't affect this. I will report back. It's really solid. It's sturdy, it's structured. It's just not floppy at all. The canvas feels thick. And the snap closure is super satisfying. So, you have the snap closure, and this is how, or one of the authenticity checks at LV, you see the Louis Vuitton. Anything that's authentic is usually going to have the Louis Vuitton sort of in their house writing on the hardware. So it's very solid. I know a lot of people online, they check luxury things for the stitching and it must be perfect. And I'm thinking, my good people, my children, my loves, you are already spending somebody's rent money on getting a bag from a company that has a multi-billion dollar evaluation. Sorry, not evaluation, valuation with a V at the beginning of the word. So if you're already doing that, I get it. You're trying to look for evenness and stitches and the craftsmanship. You need to get a bespoke or custom planner or bag or pair of shoes or dress or suit. Sorry, that's just what you probably would pay less money anyway. So of course, no, I didn't count stitches, but this is just a really cool book. This is the back of it. I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. And you open it up and this is what it looks like. So this is personal rings. It is a size I never thought that I would be in. You know that I like big bags and I cannot lie. And those other planners Big planners, I cannot deny. I love a big planner. However, I just couldn't pass this up. I know I could have gotten a smaller agenda that was Murakami from 20 years ago. I'm not really in small sizes. I wish Louis Vuitton had made this in a GM size. It probably would have sold out before I got it, because some of us, we would prefer the larger size, even if it were a little bit more. But this is personal rings. It's not A6. It's not personal wide. You have to get specifically personal sized inserts. I have some that are coming from Filofax. Because it's after the new year, I have 50% off, I believe. I'm going to get the International Week on One Page inserts. I'm primarily hoping to use this as a creative journal. So I have the creative bundle coming from Cloth and Paper and Personal. I also got some paper from Sterling Ink, but my order there has been significantly delayed. I chose not to get it hot stamped. My essay, Lisa, was so sweet about it, but I told her I'll think about it, because I was thinking, well, if I want to sell it, you know what, y'all, I never really sell my things. I'm such a hoarder. Anyway, I'll keep it. And then if I sold it, my nieces and nephews, I have 6 of them, they would be really, really annoyed. So as you can tell, let me stop telling jokes or cracking jokes here. All right, so there are 6 card slots, and then you have a longer sleeve. One variation of this compared to the desk agendas is that the inner pocket here, you don't have a secretary or an inner pocket like you do on the desk agendas or on the GM agenda. Let me know in the comments if you use personal rings or MM, and tell me whether or not there is some other place to store stickers or store documents besides the back, which is what you have here. You also have a large card pocket where I do have the product code and date code. Let me be helpful. I'm seeing some people share online. So if you want to order this yourself, let me see if I can get it focused for you. Here is the code. So all of them look like this. And so you can tell your local Louis Vuitton boutique. Also, if you have a Saks Fifth Avenue or a Nordstrom or a Bloomingdale's, I believe, you could, sometimes they also have those services where you can order. Okay, let me hide this again. You also tend to get a card within authentic Louis Vuitton items, which, it doesn't, this is not going to have a specific date code or something to let you know is authentic. Someone can authenticate it at the company. But again, certain things that we talk about online are just, it's like, okay, why would you spend this much on an agenda unless it's something that is an investment? I'm still kicking myself about this. Okay, so that is the inside of this. You also get the pen loop. It is, you know how I feel about non-elastic pen loops. I don't think I'm going to keep a pen back here because, for obvious reasons, I think. All right, so let me give you a close-up. Oh, I should say that you do get the stamp here. This is not the anniversary stamp. So the anniversary stamp items were, you get the Louis Vuitton 20-year anniversary, because the re-release of Murakami is because this is the 20th anniversary of that iconic Marc Jacobs Takashi Murakami collaboration back in 2005. I keep in my memory, I thought it was 03 or 04, but I guess it's 2005 because the 20-year anniversary was last year, 2025. So yeah, so that's what this looks like. And then I'll flip it on the back so you can see the back. I do believe that this was $1,010. Is it worth it? You have to tell me if it's worth it. So there are many other ways that you could spend $1,000. And I am just, I don't have an excuse. I ordered it really just to see if I could. But I'm happy to have it, needless to say. And of course, on the pre-loved market, it's going to be even more expensive. And it feels like something you might actually carry. I probably will not carry it to work because it is something very conspicuous. And mostly I like to be a little bit incognito when I am impression. When I am not impression. When I'm impression. What? When I'm in person. Lord, I always film at night and maybe I should stop doing that. I want to say one more thing for the price point. LVMH needs to include the inserts. I refused. I refuse to purchase the LVMH or the Louis Vuitton inserts for this because if you are paying $1,000 for an agenda, you need to be able to put all of the paper inside. They need to give us a pen. They need to give us a bag of coffee, a mug, everything else. But of course, they knew that enough people would pay it because all of their things, especially their special collections, sell out. Because LV, Hermes, and Chanel are the three luxury brands that so far, future is uncertain, so far they've never lost value. So you go online, you see how much last year's Murakami items were retailing for. So I figure I can always, sell this to eat if I need to. Okay. I am definitely going to use this as a creative journal, and it really does feel like it's a piece that I'm so happy that I have in my collection. Again, my only regrets are that it's not the GM size or the large A5 size, and that it didn't come with the inserts because, no, just no. All right, the next piece is the pencil case. Now, this is the only piece I pre-ordered because I'm thinking, woo, that price. That's a stack. But when you get in the boutique and you walk around and you have a lovely staff that shows you things and help you imagine the place they can have in your life, or if you're a collector and you're starting to collect these stationery and agenda items, don't be like me, y'all. Okay, I'm just kidding. I did get the pencil case because, again, it was there and I passed it up the first time. So let me show you my Emily notebook real quick. So I saw this pencil case and it was available. I think one of them was still available from the anniversary collab. And I'm going to show you that. When I picked up my Emily notebook, which is going swimmingly, I have decided to accessorize it like this because isn't it cool? Yeah. So I have this is my faith system because it is only through the, faith, walking by faith that I could do this and still, have shelter and food and all this other stuff. And also, to whom much is given, much is required, giving an equal amount to neighbors, family, friends, charity, community, mutual aid, etc. So I do give and do a lot. So just for this season of becoming a full professor, I had, decided, well, this is going to be a wonderful setup for my Bible in 52 Weeks by Dr. Kimberly Moore. I'm walking through it because, Lord goodness have mercy, we won't talk about politics that much on this channel, but woo, waking up today, January 3rd, I'm glad I'm walking through. And then I have just some daily faith reflections. I won't, go into everything I'm doing, but I'm really getting into this. So I did pair this with an Ollie clip that I bought separately. So I really wasn't planning on putting it on the journal or the Emily notebook. But anyway, and you did see the cloth and paper clip that I paired it with, but because I'm using it upstairs in my bedroom, really didn't need it. So I had that there. But one of the things I was going to say is that I saw this, it was available, and I thought, I'll pay that money for a pencil case. Who would do that? Like, I could get a new coat that is really good quality. I could get boots. There was a whole conversation about Mayor Mamdani in New York's wife's boots. She paid, I think, $600 or $700 for some boots, but I think she had them on loan. So anyway, I know that I have, I know my politics, and I was thinking, that's immoral to pay for a pencil case. Okay. Reader, I bought the pencil case. Here's my rationalization. It's probably not a good one. Again and again and again. I have nieces and nephews who will get everything from me after I am gone. But I just know 3 of them, 3 of the 6, and probably more, are artists. I come from an art family. And so this would be like a really cool little thing. And this is my one piece that I have that was from the 20-year anniversary celebration, because again, it didn't sell last year because who would get the pens? I thought it was interesting that this has the hot pink or fuchsia interior, while this has teal. And you know, I love teal. I love any shade of blue. So reds and blues are my jam. So I don't know that I am going to use this for its intended purpose, because I know how I am with my pen cases. And again, if you know me in real life and see me, I won't have this out and about. Let's see if it'll fit a Tombow. That's what I have these out for. And oh my goodness, y'all, it will fit a Tombow. You see? Let's put another Tombow in. Let's see if it'll fit all the Tombows. You can tell I'm a little giddy. Don't worry, after the high comes the hangover. Okay, no, that's terrible. I'm sorry, y'all. That was not what I should have said. I think this is from another collection. I think this might be one of the pens I got from Tombow, markers I got from my cloth and paper box. That's not a primary color. Let me put that aside, because I just want to see if all the primary colors will fit in here, just so we can see if it's worth it, because as you know, you can look on the website and see. All right, so we're starting to get to the point where I don't think, wait. At a certain point, I don't think this is going to close. So that's red, yeah. Okay, so I think the verdict is you can get about 6 Tombows in here and close them before, let me show you. I have a tendency to do things off camera. I know that's frustrating. So you can put 6 Tombows in and close them very carefully. Another reason why sometimes, you know, it isn't such a bad idea. Oops, let me see if I can get it. It's not such a bad idea to invest in luxury items. I know if I break this zipper for a charge, depending on or for free, if I can prove the item was faulty, you can get anything repaired. I mean, now you can get a Coach purse repaired too, or a Coach notebook repaired. But, you know, if push came to shove, you could always get this repaired. Or, you know, if you are crafty or handy or know someone who does leather work, you can always upcycle things. I'm not wearing my watch, but I actually got a tip about upcycling. So that's interesting. So I put 6 Tombows in here. Now, there will probably never be Tombows in this again, because absolutely not. So I'm going to carefully unzip, and I hope that I don't embarrass myself on camera. It's like, why did she do that? Just to show off? Now, for the price point, you would think LV would do a double zip. Okay, let me bring this a little closer to me, because I can work it out. Okay, yep. I will never do that again, but it just shows you what it holds. Yeah, there's not much else to say about this. It's really cute. It is slimmer than you would expect, but it does hold a lot. I've seen people online say that they put lip gloss in here, so you could use it as a mini makeup case. You could put gum in here. I wouldn't advise putting it there unless you live somewhere where it never gets hot or warm, because things will melt in your purse. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what I would use this for. Now, if I got a really nice fountain pen and I didn't have any ink in it, or it was unused, I might put it in there. It easily holds a full matte hop set, so that's just simple, and you can just zip it around. The zipper's good. So just like my agenda was made, and I'm going to show you real quick. I want to show you where the pen case was made. This was made in France. I mean, for some LV collectors and lovers, it matters, because the items made in France and Spain and Italy tend to have a good reputation. However, you can also look online and see where a lot of these products are, you know, started. So this one, the agenda was made in France, and the pencil case was made in Spain. But all of these products also had have parts and sourcings from across the global south. And I think that was definitely revealed last year when we have the huge luxury reveal of, the factories and, places around, China or Vietnam, et cetera, et cetera. So, this idea of exclusivity has sort of been broken. People can think about what they will put in this if they invest in it. Just know that Murakami is not the only design they have in this. I think if I were going to get a pencil case that I actually use for real pencils or pens, I would go for the monogram, the reverse monogram, or the monogram eclipse, which I think might be even the best choice because that's gray and black. And then this way you don't have to worry about stains. Oh, I didn't tell you. See, this is how you can tell I'm not used to unboxing things. So this is a pink fabric zipper, but this is a wipeable interior. So if you really did need to use it, I do think that, so the outside is coated canvas. It's not leather, but the inside is this hot pink kind of leather. I think it's either taiga or some kind of epi. No, epi is very distinct. I should look in on the website before I film these videos. But I told you, I literally just sat down to do this. Okay, and then finally, I got one of the Jane notebooks. And again, this was something that I saw. I did not buy either of these at the time that I ordered this agenda, but I figured, well, Ebony, we're in it now. Because it's like, after you spend a stack on an agenda, you're thinking, what is $450 or $40 for a pencil case, and what's $100 for a notebook? You just go ham. And so I'm just thinking about all the different things I could have done, but it was fun to treat myself. And again, I just wanted to get this notebook. It is so pretty. It's like desk candy. It's like if you put this down on your desk and you're just like, bam, let me move these other items aside. And it's like, I'm going to be creative and I'm going to be colorful and woo. And so the cover is just gorgeous. And the Murakami artwork really stands out here. So we've seen it in coated canvas, and then which really does pop on camera. And this is fabric. So here it is in fabric. The paper is interesting because you get the gilded edges that I was looking for in the other Jane notebook, that had the dark blue edging. And I don't think I have that Jane notebook nearby. Wait, yes I do. Hold on. Comparison time. So, Louis Vuitton box. I remember I actually unboxed the Emily notebook for you. Right? So now we have, so we can do some comparison. Oh, thank you, Past Ebony, for hooking your future self up. All right, so now you can kind of compare. I'm going to move aside the Matte Hops, move aside the Tombos, and we're going to look at these two side by side. So, same size. It is definitely LV's own proprietary size. And I talked about why I chose not to use this in the Emily notebook setup in my video about that. Here is the difference between the two edges. So we have gilded edges because this one was 90. This one's, I think, 120 USD when I filmed this, or as I filmed this. And okay, so you have that. Then you have, this is what it looks like here on the long edge. And then here is the bottom and the back of both notebooks. Oops, let me see, where's the back? Ooh, it's same front and back for the Murakami version. So, these are definitely the expensive These are definitely the most expensive notebooks I have ever owned and likely will ever own. I like this. This is kind of like denim, like a deep stonewashed denim. And this is Murakami. So there's the comparison. Just like we had the monogram motif on the indigo blue notebook for the Murakami Jane notebook. Oh, this is the product code. I didn't get a product code in the pencil case. I'm sorry about that. But here's the product code for the Jane notebook. It is still available from the website. So if you just want to get one item, I think this is the cheapest thing you can get that has a Murakami motif. And if you're a stationery aficionado and were around in the Y2K era and you can justify it, go for it. So this goes to show you what the comparison looks like. This is kind of like the original monogram. It's not like bold to match this exactly. It's a little faded. And if you've seen the monogram anniversary bags, I saw them when I was in boutique, they seem similar. And then you do have the multicolor here. You have the same page problem, but I think it's just because I'm not sophisticated enough to appreciate why the nameplate or the name page is always glued together, but it's the exact same. Even the same color of paper. And then here you can see everything else is going to be the same. And you don't get an envelope or a pouch. I don't know what that's called. I need to look things up on the back. So that's all there is to say about the Jane notebook. I think that I am going to make this a special thoughts only notebook. This may be something that I gift. It is blue though. I don't know. It's like, I do end up giving some really nice gifts eventually. Let me know in the comments what you would use a notebook that was an investment for. Because one of the things that is true about this, that was true about the indigo blue notebook, is that you can't do anything else with this. Yeah. You're pretty much done. Once you finish writing out the notebook, you would need to upcycle it or craft it or do something else to preserve this. One way that you might think about upcycling is I've seen some people actually frame bags and boxes in tissue paper. For me, it's not that deep. I like LV, okay, because I grew up in the hood. That was like a inspiration for those of us who are golden age of hip hop, Dapper Dan, etc., etc. However, I don't think I would. I don't know, frame a bag. I mean, to each their own. Some people have done it and been really, really creative with it. Framing scarves would be what I think I do. But you could take this because it feels like fabric canvas and you could cut it and frame it in such a way that it does become a conversation piece. So that's just one way you can do it. Once you own a piece, you can upcycle it any way that you so choose. So I'm not really sure what I would use either of these notebooks for. It's, I know some people are afraid to use their things. I typically am not. So I think the only other thing I could do is maybe show you what it would look like in an LV notebook cover, since I am not paying for that Jane. No, I paid for 2 Jane notebooks. I'm not paying the pre-loved prices for I'm not paying pre-loved prices for the Emily notebook cover in this. So let's show you this and wrap up the video because we're already getting long for an impromptu video. I know I can be kind of chatty. All right, we put the elastic, switch it so that it's on the inside. I'm getting better at this, y'all. Look at me, look at me. And that baby blue is so pretty. It's like, what? I was hoping originally for a Jane notebook if I was going to do this, but I have a different setup and it just worked out that way. So let's see, let's tuck this in to an actual notebook cover and yeah, So feels substantial, feels good, because you do have a hardcover. Oh, I didn't tell you that in either video. So it's a hardcover, but not an overly hardcover. But see, you can kind of hear it. The Jane notebooks are definitely good quality. They're not bad quality. I just don't think that they are the quality that Louis Vuitton, Moet Hennessy, LVMH wants to charge us for. I just don't think. I think that they could do a little bit less. So there we have it. So, okay, we'll say goodbye to that. Yeah. Let me know in the comments whether or not you picked up anything from either Murakami collection in 2025 or 2026, whether you are an owner of one of the original Murakami agendas from the 2000s, whether you're interested in this sort of thing or not, and whether or not any of these items would make it into your own planning system. Overall vibe check as I wrap up. The collection's very much about joy and not really productivity. I think the only item out of these three that I am going to be sort of productive with, depending, will probably be the agenda, MM. The collection here is not, this is going to change your life. This is how you're going to be better in 2026. No. That's what the monogram and damier, and if you can get your hands on them, the epi and taiga agendas that are in the browns and blacks, structured, well known for work and life. That's not this. This is going to make your everyday planning routine feel cuter and more creative and more colorful, which is great. If I had to rank these right now, I think my ranks would be obvious. Number one is this Agenda MM, which I did pre-order against my better judgment, and which definitely is going to be a staple or a mainstay in my luxury planner collection. Number two will be this Jane notebook, because I'll figure out something, because I'll definitely figure out something. This one's not going to leave my collection. And then finally, the pencil case. But that could totally change. Once I start using them, I will do an update probably in 3 to 6 months and tell you how I ended up using them, or I'll tell you if I decided to make someone the lucky winner of a very expensive stationery or planning piece, or if I decided to rehome them on the pre-loved market. I don't have any regrets so far, despite all my jokes. No immediate, why did I do this? I'm going to be destitute thoughts, which is honestly a win, at least for now. So yeah, those are my very fresh, I just bought this, still in the honeymoon phase, first impressions of my Murakami planning and agenda items. I'll definitely do an update once I start using them, because first term impressions and long-term use are two very different things. Let me know in the comments which of the three pieces you like the most, and if you would actually use any of these or just admire it from afar. Again, thanks for joining me today. Next time, we're going to do a walkthrough of this woman's work planner for 2026. If you like it, then I love it. Give this a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!